Our biggest issue when we are looking for what's next is not necessarily understanding who we are. It's being able to articulate that to other people. How do we articulate things to other people? Well, we use words. Well, how do I find the words that describe me? Well, I could use values. I could use personality words. I could use my communication style. Maybe there are leadership skills. Oh, and by the way, leadership doesn't mean that you have to be leading people and a project. Leadership skills is the way you think and how you do your work. What's your mindset? I come in and I do things where I'm the person who builds the operations. I bring in the right people. So people and processes. Okay, you'll hear me talk about these words later on. My communication style. You know what? I actually know that I'm very verbose. And when I have people in my organization or people that work with me, I tell them, look, I talk. If you want a direct answer, you got to let me know that that's what you need, right? That makes a difference when you think about work. Because if you're in an organization where people just want quick answers, but you're verbose, it doesn't work and it creates a lot of tension, right? So these are examples of where I'm trying to tell you how these items make you unique. So take a minute and write down what are things that make you unique in, let's say, your values, your personality, maybe working style. What is working style? An example that I like to give is collaborative versus competitive. There was a time that I worked for both Coca-Cola and AT&T. If you go, and they both were Fortune 10 companies, right? They were both the top of their game in terms of their industries. Coca-Cola for beverages and AT&T for telecom. Now, there was one big difference in both the companies. So even though they were the number one companies in their industry, Coca-Cola was very competitive internally. What I mean by that was people did not necessarily collaborate with each other. If you were the new person and you asked someone, hey, can you help me with, a project, or can you introduce me to the right people for a project? It would not happen because people were very protective of their network because they were competitive and they wanted to show that they were doing the best work. Now, I went to AT&T after that, and I realized that the company was a little bit more collaborative. Now, it didn't mean that everyone was just working together. It was that people were open to working together if somebody came up with a new idea. And that was what was very different because for me, I needed to be in a collaborative environment. I didn't want to have to compete with my colleagues just to get work done day in and day out. Right? That was very stressful for me to be in a competitive environment where people were closing their mindset to not working together. So, as I've been talking about this, hopefully it gave you some ideas on what are kinds of things you should write to talk about what makes you unique. But also remember the exercise you did previously, which is where did you work? Right? Go back to those instances and figure out what is it in there that has made me unique in my different experiences or positions. What did I bring to the table from my communication style, my working style, my personality?